What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Baddog here with a Sunday morning video. Of course, today we got the live stream doubleheader. I'll be live for Patriots and Eagles. And then, of course, later tonight, Lakers, Hawks. I hope you guys will tune in and hang out with me today. I am still under the damn weather. Can't kick this damn cold. It sucks. But after a load management night off, we're ready to go. But in this one, man, I just want to talk about New York sports in general and how poor it has been. And, it just kind of sucks to have to make this video, but I'm just sitting there thinking about it yesterday. And it's just bad. It is a bad time for New York sports right now. I mean, pretty much all the teams are terrible or have been terrible for, a long time now. I mean, you look at Boston, that's City of Champions. I mean, you got the Celtics over there. I think they're 10-1. They've won championships. Patriots, obviously, always in the Super Bowl, won 6 championships since the turn of the millennium. The Red Sox have won 4 championships since 2004. So, they're winning a lot over there. And here in New York, we're not winning anything. We got 8 teams that haven't done a lot of anything. The Knicks, forget about it. We just start talking about the Knicks. They have a good-sized lead yesterday. They can't hold it, lose to the Hornets. They're now 3-10 on the year. And the Knicks have been absolutely terrible. I mean, ever since they got rid of Patrick Ewing, they've had three winning seasons since 2000. 3 winning seasons in 20 years. That is pathetic. They've won 1 playoff series since 2000. That is awful. That is god-awful. They're the biggest joke in this city, the New York Knicks. They're terrible. They may be the biggest joke in professional basketball. They are. I mean, just a disgraceful team. And it's always funny when I do Laker games. They're like, oh, you're a Laker fan. No, I'm a Knicks fan. But I just happen to cover the Lakers. But it's just... it's amazing to watch a team like the Lakers and to actually watch good basketball. It's kind of like when I watch a football team that's not the New York Giants. And I sit there and go, wow, how come they make the offense look so easy? How come they're getting stops on 3rd and 11? Like, I'm just not used to that with the Giants. The Nets are not much better either. They've had 1 winning season since 2014, pretty much since they came to Brooklyn. Their first 2 years in Brooklyn, they did have a winning record, but since 2014, they've had 1 winning record. And, they're 5-7 this year. They went out and spent all that money. Now, of course, they don't have Kevin Durant, but again, just really bad. I mean, the Nets are not a good team, and they're not going to win a championship anytime soon. They thought by going out and spending all this money that it would help them, and it really hasn't. And they're 5-7. They're not a great team by any means. Of course, maybe when Durant gets back, he'll help. But I remember Kevin Durant's got a lot of miles on those legs. He's not a young guy anymore. And coming off a torn Achilles tendon, man, that's a big-time injury. That's not some small injury. Big guys in their feet or their ankles, it hurts, man. It's not easy to walk around. You're 6'10" on them ankles and feet. Patrick Ewing always had the bad knees and the bad feet. Being a big guy, Shaq had the bad feet. A lot of pressure on their feet. So the Nets haven't been good either. I mean, it's just bad. We're just not good at basketball. The Nets have never won an NBA championship. The Knicks haven't won one since 1973. So, just bad. They're bad teams. The Giants. I mean, I go through this every week. 40-66 since 2012, since the end of 2012 season. 10-32 since 2016. 2-8 this year. Just awful. I mean, this team is pathetic. And we're losing more than 3/4 of our games in the last 3 seasons. What else can you even say about it, And then the team we lost to, the 1-7 Jets, they're no better either. They've had 1 winning season since 2010. 1. In the last decade, the Jets have had 1 winning season, and they're a combined 16-41 since 2015. It's just sad. All these teams are sad. And I'm not a Jets fan, no, but I don't root against the Jets. I'm not a Nets fan, but I don't root against the Nets. Listen, if New York gets in these championships, I'm rooting for the New York team. Excuse me. Like I said, it's still under the weather a little bit. But the Mets are no better either. The Mets have had 3 winning seasons in the last decade. 3 winning seasons since 2009. That's sad. Now, they are the last New York team to actually get into a championship series, 2015 World Series, which I rooted my ass off for the Mets. I'm not going to lie. I wanted the Mets to win that. Like I said, I have no hate for the Mets. I root for the Mets when they're there. I want them to beat Kansas City. They lost 4-1. It was a really close series. Obviously, 2000, I wasn't rooting for the Mets, let's be honest. But, 2015, I was rooting for them. I wanted them to win it. And they are the last New York team to get there. And we're talking that was 5 years ago, pretty much. Mets did have an 86-76 record this year, but they ended up firing their manager, Mickey Callaway, because they felt like he underperformed. They went out and spent all this money on free agency, getting that bullpen well. And they started off really bad. They had a really good run in the middle of the year, and they just fell short of the playoffs because the Brewers or Cardinals lost down the stretch. But they fire their manager. They try to get Joe Girardi. He turns them down. They end up with Carlos Beltran, who is now in the dead center of this Houston Astros cheating thing. So there's just more stuff for the Mets. They're just a bad luck team. The Mets have the worst luck of any team, I swear to God. They sign all these big guys to come over there, and they all fail. They all either get hurt or they completely underperform. Just like a Familia, he was terrible for them. The list goes on and on. You had your Mo Vaughns, your Roberto Alomars, your Bobby Bonillas, your Jason Bays. Whatever the Mets do never, ever works for them. They got really bad luck, and now they go out and get Beltran. It was an interesting hire to begin with. But now he's right, like I said, right dead smack in the middle of all this controversy that he was one of the engineers of stealing the signs and getting the camera set up and everything else. So who knows what's going to go on there with Carlos Beltran, who knows? But that's just something, again, the Mets don't need and nothing to do with the Mets. But Carlos Beltran brings all that crap over there to the Mets now. So that's just, again, they're just a bad luck franchise. Now, the Yankees have probably been the most consistent team of all the New York teams. They have winning records every year pretty much. They're always in the thick of the playoffs. They've been a contender for the World Series, but they've fallen short. This decade the last time the Yankees didn't make a World Series in a decade was the 1910s. It had been 100 years, 10 decades that the Yankees have at least made one World Series, even if they didn't win one, because they didn't win one in the 80s. But regardless, they didn't make the World Series this year. So that means that the 2000 teens, they didn't make a World Series. First time since the 19 teens that they didn't do that. So did the Yankees underperform? I don't know about that. They won 204 games in the last 2 years. I'm a big-time Yankee fan. You know that. Very disappointed in the way it ended. Obviously, the Houston Astros thing, I could do a whole video on that, but it's kind of past news now. I won't. All I'm going to say is this. I love Altuve. I've always been a big Altuve fan, but now in the back of my head, I know it was a bad pitch by Chapman. I always say Chapman needs to go with the heat. Stop fooling around with that stupid slider. He hung a slider, and it was a bad pitch. But now in the back of my mind, I'll always think, did Altuve know that was coming? The Yankees said the Astros were whistling from the dugout, and the officials and the umpires all downplayed it. Now in the back of my head, I'm always going to think to myself, did he know that he was going to get a slider, and that's why he was all over it? Again, I'm not saying that's what happened. It's just it was a bad pitch by Chapman. I hate when he fools around with the slider. He should be throwing fastballs. But in the back of my mind, I'll always be thinking now, well, was he tipped off that a slider was coming? So but the Yankees have obviously been the best team in New York as far as wins and losses, but still haven't won a championship since 2009. The hockey team's not a big hockey fan. The Rangers have not been awful. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The Rangers have been pretty decent now. 2017 and 18, they weren't good. This year, they're 8-8-2. Of course, the one game I decided to watch. The one Ranger game, I'm like, oh, it's on. Let me watch the Rangers. I watch them give up 4 goals in about 2 minutes. They lose 9-1. I'm like, of course. This is the one Ranger game I decide to watch. They get the hell beat out of them by the Lightning. So the Rangers have been a decent team. They made the playoffs a lot. They should have won the Stanley Cup in 2012. I think it was 2012, 2013. Maybe 2013, 2014. I don't know the exact year when they lost to the Kings. They had a 2-goal lead in Game 1 and in Game 2. They actually had a 2-goal lead in Game 2 twice. A bad penalty cost the Rangers that game. A bad call on the penalty cost the Rangers that game. But, yeah, they haven't won anything since 1994. At least they've been in the playoffs consistently. They've been a decent team, but again, no championships. The Islanders are having a great year this year. I think they're 14-3-1. Something. I think that's what they are. They got 29 points. They're right in the thick of the conference, and they're playing really well. Again, I don't follow Islander hockey, so I don't know much about it. What I do know is they made the playoffs 4 times since 2007. They're having a great year this year, but again, in the grand scheme of things, the New York Islanders have not been good in the last 12 years either. So New York, in general, with these teams, have been horrendous. And it just sucks, man, because, again, I'm not a huge hockey fan anyway. I'm a casual Rangers fan. I say that all the time. Rangers make the playoffs. I watch them, and I root my ass off for them, hoping that they win it all. But you'll never see me walking around with Rangers gear, Rangers hat, saying, yeah, let's go Rangers. Obviously, I'd be happy they won the championship. I was really happy when they won it in 94. But I don't ever consider myself a diehard Rangers fan. I'd be lying to you. I'm not. The Islanders, same thing. I don't pay any attention to the Islanders. I just looked up the stats see they're having a really good year this year, but they haven't been good, and I know they hadn't been good for a while. But looking at all these teams, it's a shame because I love New York sports, obviously, being a New Yorker. And like I said, I'm not an Islanders fan, but if they get there, I'm going to root for them. I'm not a Mets fan, but if they get there, I'm going to root for them. I know some Knicks fans will not root for the Nets because they feel like they screwed us getting Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, but I'm not that guy. I mean, I want a championship to come back here no matter who it is. But I don't think any of these teams are close. Maybe the Islanders will do something this year. The Yankees are always close, but the rest of these teams got a long way to go, and we just got to ride it out, New York fans. It sucks because, like I said, I love the city and I love the teams there, and I want some championships coming back here. Like I said, Boston, you look over there, they got all kinds of championships since the turn of the millennium, and we haven't done much of anything. The Yankees won one in 2000, they won one in 2009, the Giants won in 07 and 2011, and that's it. That's what you've had here since 2000. So hopefully these teams can turn it around and we can put New York sports back on the map. But I was just thinking about it. I kind of wanted to rant about it today. Not really a rant, but just get your thoughts on what you think about New York sports in general. Can we get this thing going in the right direction? And, that's really all I got. Wow, this video went 11 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to ramble on. Hope to see you guys later tonight for the live streams. Thank you for watching. It's the Bad Diggity Dizzle, and I am gone.